On a fateful night at the luxurious Hartley estate, the body of Evelyn Harper is discovered in the wine cellar, sparking a mysterious murder case. Fingerprints, strands of hair, and crucial pieces of evidence lead the police through a web of lies and deceit within this prestigious family. Is it a crime of passion, financial turmoil, or cold-blooded revenge? Follow the gripping investigation and shocking revelation, where the true killer emerges with a secret that leaves everyone in horror. On the night of November 12, 2023, a shocking murder occurred at the luxurious Hartley family estate, located deep in the quiet suburbs of Ashburn, England. The police were called immediately after Mr. Gregory, the family's longtime gardener, discovered the body of a young woman in the hidden wine cellar beneath the ground floor of the house. According to Mr. Gregory's account, around p.m., while inspecting the garden at the back of the house, he heard an unusual sound coming from the wine cellar, a place where only 3 people in the house had keys. Feeling uneasy, he grabbed a flashlight and went down the stairs leading to the cellar. The heavy wooden door creaked open, and the first thing he was hit with was the strong smell of wine mixed with something cold and pungent, the scent of blood. Under the dim light of the flashlight, Mr. Gregory saw a haunting scene. On the stone-tiled floor, a young woman lay motionless. Blood from her body had spread across the floor, mingling with spilled wine, creating dark red streaks. The victim wore a tight-fitting red dress, typically worn to parties. Her body had multiple stab wounds to the chest and neck, fatal blows, showing the brutality of the killer. Her wide-open eyes seemed to convey something before her life was taken. A high-heeled shoe lay nearby, and a trail of blood led to the corner of the room, suggesting a desperate attempt to escape. The wine cellar, once a place for storing expensive bottles of wine, had become a chaotic crime scene. Some bottles were knocked over, and some were shattered, but there were no signs of a violent struggle. This added to the mystery. Had the victim been murdered here, or was she brought to the cellar after being killed elsewhere? The police, under the command of Inspector William Carter, quickly sealed off the scene and began their investigation. The forensic team noted several important details, including strange blood-stained shoe prints leading from the victim's location to the stairs that led to the ground floor. Forensic experts identified the prints as belonging to a men's shoe, size 42, but the shoes did not match anyone present at the estate at the time. The cellar door showed no signs of forced entry, supporting the theory that the killer was likely someone familiar with the family or had a key. Additionally, the wine cellar was under strict surveillance, making the case even harder to understand. When questioned at the scene, Mr. Marcus Hartley, the estate's owner and a successful wine producer, appeared stunned by the event. He insisted that he did not know who the victim was and could not explain why she was in his family's wine cellar. Mrs. Eleanor Hartley, his wife, was also visibly terrified, while their youngest son, Lucas Hartley, showed clear signs of stress when answering Inspector Carter's questions. Lucas avoided eye contact with the investigators and requested to leave the scene, citing poor health. Mr. Gregory's testimony, the man who discovered the body, provided an important clue. The wine cellar was rarely used, only opened for large parties, and the last time it had been accessed was about 3 months ago. The keys to the cellar were only held by Mr. Marcus, Mrs. Eleanor, and Lucas, and Mr. Gregory had never seen any disturbance in the cellar before. News of the murder spread quickly through the town of Ashburn the following morning, leaving the local residents unsettled by the brutal nature of the crime. The peacefulness of this small town seemed to have been shattered, and everyone was eager to follow the developments of the investigation. Just a few hours after receiving information from the crime scene, the identity of the victim in the Hartley estate murder was confirmed. Through fingerprint analysis and identification data, the victim was identified as Evelyn Harper, a 27-year-old freelance fashion designer from Manchester. What was surprising was that Evelyn had no obvious connections to the Hartley family, further complicating the motive behind the crime. Inspector William Carter, who was leading the investigation, immediately ordered a thorough review of Evelyn's past and her personal relationships. Her records showed that she was an independent individual with no criminal history and was not a local resident of Ashburn. The big question arose: why was Evelyn in the Hartley family wine cellar hundreds of miles away from where she lived. Investigators began to interview Evelyn's close acquaintances. Her best friend, Rachel Morgan, revealed that Evelyn had left Manchester 3 days prior, claiming she was attending an important event. Rachel did not know any other details, except that Evelyn had mentioned a mysterious man she had recently met, describing him as charismatic and powerful. Back at the scene, the forensic team continued to examine the wine cellar carefully. They discovered faint marks on Evelyn's wrist, resembling signs of being tied or held tightly for a short period. There were also small fibers on her dress, which did not belong to her clothing, but appeared to be from something in the cellar. Evelyn's mobile phone, found in her handbag near the body, provided a significant clue. The data on the phone revealed that she had received a message on the evening of November 11th from an unfamiliar number, saying, "Meet at p.m. at the Hartley estate. Just say you're Lucas's guest. No one will suspect." This message immediately directed the investigation toward Lucas Hartley, the youngest son of the family, who had already shown suspicious behavior since the discovery of the body. Lucas, 24, was a quiet and reserved young man. According to his records, he had attended a prestigious art school in London, but dropped out to help with the family business. However, several employees at the estate mentioned that Lucas was often absent, had unclear relationships with people outside, and frequently hosted private parties with a group of friends. When summoned for questioning, Lucas denied any involvement with Evelyn. He insisted that he did not know the victim and was baffled as to why his name appeared in the message sent to her. However, his tense demeanor and vague answers led Inspector Carter to suspect him further. Meanwhile, the investigation team continued to search the area around the Hartley estate and discovered a car abandoned about 300 meters from the estate. The car, registered under Evelyn Harper's name, indicated that she had driven there on the evening of November 11th. Upon inspecting the vehicle, the police found a small notebook belonging to Evelyn, which contained a schedule and some brief notes. One of the notes stood out: Lucas party in Ashburn, 11/11. As the investigation into Evelyn's relationships progressed, additional clues emerged from the estate staff. An anonymous servant revealed that on the evening of November 11th, Lucas had asked her to prepare the basement for cleaning, even though no event was planned there. This raised further suspicions about Lucas's involvement. At the same time, a security camera footage from the entrance of the estate that evening was retrieved, showing a woman, identified as Evelyn, entering the estate at 8:45 p.m. She was greeted by a man who opened the door and guided her inside. But the footage was too unclear to identify the man. The investigation gradually revealed hidden aspects of Evelyn's relationship with the Hartley family. However, everything remained tangled, as the true motive for the murder and the roles of the family members were still unclear. The investigation into the murder of Evelyn Harper at the Hartley estate has gradually narrowed down to 3 main suspects, all of whom are either family members or have close ties to the Hartley family. New developments and clues have begun to reveal dark secrets that each family member seems eager to keep hidden. Lucas Hartley, the scandalous son. Lucas, 24, is the first to come under suspicion due to his direct connection to the victim, Evelyn Harper. The message sent to Evelyn instructing her to introduce herself as Lucas's guest immediately caught Inspector Carter's attention. Despite Lucas's denial of knowing Evelyn, inconsistencies in his testimony were uncovered, contradicting the evidence. A former friend of Lucas, Nathan Cole, provided information to the police stating that Lucas had met Evelyn at an art exhibition in London 3 months prior. Nathan described their relationship as close but tumultuous, which directly contradicted Lucas's claim that he had never known Evelyn. Furthermore, estate employees revealed that Lucas frequently used the wine cellar to host private parties, inviting friends and acquaintances from outside. On the night of November 11th, he had instructed staff to prepare the cellar, even though no event was scheduled. This raised suspicions that Lucas had been preparing the cellar for a private meeting with Evelyn, a meeting that ultimately ended in tragedy. Marcus Hartley, the father with business secrets. Marcus Hartley, 54, the owner of the estate and a well-known businessman in the high-end wine industry, was also implicated as the investigation revealed his financial troubles. Some sources reported that Marcus was facing the risk of bankruptcy due to recent failed investments, raising the question of whether Evelyn was connected to his financial difficulties. Another important clue was found in the wine cellar. Among the broken wine bottles, police discovered fingerprints belonging to Marcus. While this wasn't unusual, as he owned the cellar, one of the bottles had dried blood on it that matched Evelyn's blood type. This suggested that the wine bottle may have been used as a secondary weapon during the attack. Additionally, a former colleague of Marcus reported that he had mentioned needing to deal with a troublemaker during a conversation a few weeks prior. While the colleague couldn't recall who exactly he was referring to, this statement caused Inspector Carter to turn his focus onto Marcus. Eleanor Hartley, the perfect wife or the unexpected factor? Eleanor Hartley, 50, Marcus's wife, always presented herself as a calm and elegant woman. However, recent testimonies from the estate's staff have revealed a darker side to her. Eleanor was said to have an unfriendly attitude toward any guests Lucas brought to the house. A key clue emerged from the estate's security camera data. At approximately 9:10 p.m. on November 11th, just 25 minutes after Evelyn entered the estate, Eleanor was seen leaving the living room and heading toward the area near the wine cellar, carrying what appeared to be a small box. The camera footage didn't clearly capture the box, but the timing raised suspicions that Eleanor might have directly interacted with Evelyn. When questioned, Eleanor admitted to going down to the cellar, but claimed it was only to check on the wine stocks. However, her statement couldn't explain why some fibers found on Evelyn's dress matched the fabric of Eleanor's outfit from that evening. Key clues. Beyond the main suspects, several important clues have been uncovered in the investigation. Shoe prints. A blood-stained shoe print found at the scene didn't match any shoes belonging to the Hartley family. It raised the possibility that the killer may have changed shoes to mislead investigators. Hair strand. A long brown hair was found in Evelyn's hand. This hair didn't match Evelyn's, but was consistent with Eleanor's. This placed Eleanor in a more precarious position. Note in Evelyn's notebook. A mysterious name, R.J., appeared in Evelyn's notebook. While the identity of this person remains unclear, it could potentially be a crucial lead in solving the case. As the details of the case continue to unfold, the contradictions in the testimonies of the Hartley family members make Inspector Carter increasingly suspicious that this murder wasn't a spur-of-the-moment act. Instead, it might have been a carefully orchestrated plan to conceal a terrifying truth. After 3 weeks of intense investigation, the clues finally led Inspector William Carter and his team to the climax of the case. The fragmented pieces of the puzzle were slowly connected, revealing a carefully orchestrated plot behind the death of Evelyn Harper. Unveiling the truth through DNA analysis. One of the key turning points came from the DNA analysis of a strand of hair found in Evelyn's hand. The brown hair matched exactly with Eleanor Hartley's DNA. This made Eleanor the prime suspect. She denied all accusations, but when pressed about her presence in the wine cellar that evening, Eleanor became visibly uncomfortable. At the same time, the shoe prints found at the crime scene matched a pair of shoes from Eleanor's personal collection. This was a huge shock, as she had previously insisted she had no connection to the crime, the cooperation of an anonymous witness. An unexpected witness emerged, an anonymous servant in the Hartley estate. She revealed that on the night of the crime, Lucas and Evelyn had a heated argument in the wine cellar regarding a big secret that Evelyn threatened to expose. The servant recalled that Eleanor suddenly appeared and ordered her to leave the area immediately. That was the last time the servant saw Evelyn alive. The breathless chase. As the evidence against Eleanor became more undeniable, the investigation team discovered that she had quietly left the estate and gone to a family retreat in the suburbs of Chester. Inspector Carter led a team to the location. The raid took place at midnight, and Eleanor was arrested while preparing to leave with a suitcase containing cash and personal documents. In the final interrogation, under the pressure of irrefutable evidence, Eleanor confessed to her actions. She revealed that Evelyn Harper was not a stranger, but Marcus Hartley's former lover, a relationship that Eleanor had recently discovered. Evelyn had threatened to expose their affair and demanded financial compensation from Marcus. In a fit of rage and fear that the scandal would ruin the family's reputation, Eleanor decided to handle Evelyn herself. She had observed the meeting between Evelyn and Lucas in the wine cellar, then took advantage of the tension between them to carry out the murder. Eleanor's devious plan. Eleanor confessed that she had staged the crime scene to frame Lucas. She had sent the message to Evelyn herself, using a phone registered under a fake name. She also deliberately left clues suggesting Lucas's involvement, such as instructing the staff to clean the wine cellar beforehand. However, the bloodstains on the wine bottle and the strand of hair Evelyn had clenched tightly ruined Eleanor's plan. These became powerful pieces of evidence that left her no room to deny her guilt. Eleanor Hartley was charged with first-degree murder and faced life imprisonment. Lucas, although not charged, continued to suffer from the psychological pressure of the case and decided to leave the estate to live a quieter life. Marcus Hartley, though not directly involved in Evelyn's death, also faced severe consequences for his reputation and the breakdown of his family relationships. The murder case at the Hartley estate was not just a story of a crime, but also revealed the dark underbelly of a privileged family. It serves as a reminder that no matter how well hidden the truth may be, it will ultimately be exposed under the light of justice. The case marked not just the end of a life, but also a warning about the lengths people will go to protect their secrets, even if it means sacrificing a life. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like and share the video so we can bring more fascinating stories to you. Be sure to follow our channel so you won't miss any famous cases or surprising twists in the future.